Joining me now is Justin Daley. He's the CEO of Made in America Gold. Good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Mark.
So let's get a snapshot, an overview of this story, which is really interesting. It's basically, the company says it's been 10 years in the making, staking claims, building up this asset base to the point that you have these 10 district scale sized projects. And you're also near a lot of past producing mines and existing producing mines.
Exactly, yeah. This is really, for me, opportunity of a lifetime. It's not every day that a portfolio of this size and stature comes along. This started getting put together by the founder, Colin Cattell, and Cal Heron, a legendary Nevada geologist who's still working with us down at Nevada King. And the idea was simple. In the 2015, 2016 gold downturn, prices are coming down. Major mining companies are starting to think about their bottom line, and they're dropping their non-core exploration ground. And this is areas with a lot of drilling on it already, some good work. And we just started staking it. And we've been staking it since 2016 all the way through to 2020, and we're still adding little bits and pieces there. So still growing.
Great.
Yeah.
Now, pretty well all of these projects, as I understand, have had previous exploration by the likes of Barrick and Newmont and Kinross and Teck and some others. And you and the team are trying to figure out, okay, which projects should we advance toward drilling? Do you have a greater sense of that yet?
Yeah, I mean, there's a tremendous amount of historic data to go through. Amazing operators in the past, but when you're talking about exploration in the 60s, 70s through to even as soon as recent as 2015, a lot of that exploration is still going to be pretty shallow in the Earth's crust, and it's only recently with gold over $4,000 an ounce that you can start to dream about what happens at 300 to 600 meters depth. We've got mineralization that comes to surface at Lewis. We've got some recent drilling that's quite good there, and happy to talk about that in some future news releases. We haven't released some of it, but yeah, we're going a little bit deeper. We're using all of that historic information, and we're trying to churn through it as fast as possible. And that comes down to data analytics and things like that. But yeah, we've got Horse Mountain, which is right next to Nevada Gold Mines joint venture with Ridgeline. They're spending $30 million plus over several years to advance that project, and these are all things within a stone's throw of multi-million ounce operating mines.
So all right, so still lots of opportunity. You're still sort of processing it and trying to figure out what may be next or where you're going to drill first. So in the slide deck, there's a quote from Robert Friedland. I don't know if that was there before you started or if you added that, but basically he's saying, of course, the legendary miner, the way to make a discovery is to drill a lot of holes. So why is that in the slide deck, and what's the philosophy there?
I think the one thing that gets in the way of a lot of junior exploration is obviously access to capital. And being inside of Palisades Gold at the moment, we have access to capital. There's a $150 million plus and growing investment funder that's putting money into the market and realizing some nice gains at the moment. With money in your back pocket, you can then not be afraid to drill. If you can go out and pick your best targets and consistently test them efficiently too, we're not wasting money. But yeah, you have to drill a lot of holes to make a discovery. That's the only way to do it, is to put rock in the barrel and get it up to surface.
Now, this is a prospect generator model to a large degree. So can you explain the advantages of that? I mean, we've talked to a few companies who do that, like I'm thinking of Sky Harbor, for example, in the uranium space. But what are the advantages, and how does this give you optionality?
Yeah, it's really all about risk diversification. So if you can get as many properties into your portfolio, keep the royalties on them because you staked it yourself, option a couple things to complete the picture, but really you're spreading the risk around a bunch of different assets and growing them from the ground up, doing all that early stage work, and then down the road you're looking to partner with some of these major mining companies that surround you. They want access to that ground. They know that the gold doesn't stop at the edge of their property boundary. It very likely continues on trend onto our ground. So the goal there is to develop these assets to the point where we think that there's something that we want to test with the drill bit. And we're going to go ahead and do that on a few of them. But also having those conversations with their neighbors to say, is there a way we can work together on this to realize even more value? Because as we all know, drilling in Nevada is not cheap, especially in this northern part of the trend where you're looking at a little bit deeper exploration to get into the good stuff, like 4 Mile recently announced by Barrick. That's quite a ways down, but 20 plus million ounces at pretty high grades. So be nice to find one of those.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, all right. Makes a lot of sense. Now, personally, you're a professional geologist. You also went to Harvard, where you furthered your education in data analytics and AI. And Palisades, the parent company, they say that you like how you challenge outdated, or they like how you challenge outdated practices. So can you speak to that in terms of what you bring to the table as far as using modern technology and techniques to improve upon what's been done before?
Yeah, again, we're exploring undercover in a lot of areas. You still have to be a really good geologist to make a discovery anywhere. AI isn't going to make a discovery for you, but you need to be able to use these more modern tools to do the math more quickly, to recognize patterns in your geophysics more quickly, your geochemistry. It's all about making our creative work as geologists faster and more efficient. How can we get our brain power into the things that matter rather than filling out spreadsheets or merging databases? Let the machine learning algorithms do some of those things so that we can pick out those targets that we want to drill faster. And I think the industry needs to disrupt a little bit to move ahead, to pass this hurdle where we haven't had major discoveries in the last decade or more. They're becoming fewer and farther between, and that's because they're harder to get to. And so we'll use all the computing power we can get while still relying on amazing geologists like Cal Heron, who I mentioned, and I think I'm pretty good myself.
All right, so keep tuning your horn in that regard, because do you think all of that gives your company an edge against peers, or are most of your peers doing something similar?
I think anybody who's successful in the market right now and has survived this past downturn, up until this very moment, it has had to use new technologies in some form or another to really keep moving the needle forward. And I think within Palisades, the main difference for us is just doing it at scale. One thing to remember in the United States is we're operating on BLM fee land, so we're paying $200 per claim to hold ground for a long period of time. We see the value of that investment based on all the operating mines around us, and we knew that gold was eventually going to get back to a level where this could be economic. So that's something that distinguishes a prospect generator in the United States from one in Canada, where you can stake massive amounts of ground and do the assessment work on it to hold even more ground down the road. In the US, it's a little bit trickier. You need to have a little bit more backing to do it, and I think that's what our competitive advantage is as well.
Mm-hmm. From a market perspective, Palisades, the parent company, is public. Is there a plan to spin out Made in America into a public entity?
Absolutely, yeah. That's definitely on our radar.
Yep.
The nice thing about being private and having this backing from the equity balance sheet is that we can sort of self-fund in non-dilutive ways our exploration, and that's always the trick with junior mining, is how do you get work done without diluting too much, right? Of course, this is an amazing gold market. We're looking at opportunities. I think listing in the United States would be an amazing option for us, just to take advantage of people waking up to the value of gold, and relative to maybe cryptocurrencies or the big AI tech bubble that's maybe unraveling around us right now.
It seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, so this to us is a play where you get exposure to a market that's hungry for something new and doing it at scale.
So would it just be strictly NASDAQ perhaps, and Canada, Canadian listing, or?
We're looking at all of our options. Yeah. A lot of stuff on the table right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And lastly, Justin, summarize your thoughts, piece it all together for us, and put a bow on it in terms of the major reasons that investors should pay attention to this private company currently that may eventually be public.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you look at the valuation of Palisades at the moment, it's a little bit lower than the balance sheet is in terms of equity valuations, and it isn't even really taking into account this land position that we have and the work that we're going to be starting to do on it. And so the value proposition is that simple, is get in early while there's almost zero valuation on this within Palisades, and see where it takes us. We're doing exploration the right way. We're doing it science-backed, doing the boots-on-the-ground exploration that everybody knows we need to do, but also backing it up with modern technologies in every way that we can. And if you do that enough times across this 700-kilometer plus square kilometer area, something is going to happen. on one of them or more.
Okay, and lastly, what's the best way to follow the news flow from Made in America? Is it the Palisades website itself currently?
Yeah, absolutely. Palisades.ca.
Yeah.
Go there, and there's very shortly, maybe by the time this interview comes out, will be a Made in America Gold website for people to check out and stay up to date on our progress. But yeah, ticker will be PALI.V, and news releases coming out through that channel.
Right, I saw on the website that your website is under construction, so we'll look out for that and
Yeah.
the news flow. A great update. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mark. Yeah, pleasure to
Okay.
be here.
Thanks, Justin. Justin Daley, CEO of Made in America Gold.